So we have been writing basically together a paragraph about Thomas Foster's idea of communion inside of um, Beauty and the Beast and how from that we derive our theme. So we've gone through every step. We started out and we read our question or restated it, and then we answered the question, going back and looking at how what we thought our theme was, and looking at how we saw communion driving the plot. Then we found our evidence to cite. We made sure we had an intro to our evidence, and then we expounded upon our evidence, and then we wrote our paragraph, and now it is time to revise. And this is a step that should always be in your writing, because if when you first put it down, you are more worried about it being grammatically correct than getting your ideas out of you and onto paper, then it really hinders the writing process. So our first time around is not supposed to be perfect. And I'll be honest, this paragraph has already gone through a couple of stages, because when I write, my writing is usually pretty terrible the first time. It's just, these are my ideas. And I'm going to go back and look at this phrase. I don't quite like the way this phrase is. How can I reword this? Or how can I put a better word here? And I'll do this several times. And a lot of times, for me, I, for one, struggle with finding my own mistakes. So I will have someone else look at this and say, look at this, how can I fix this? What mistakes do you see? Because a lot of times you know what idea you're trying to get across, but your reader doesn't. So let's look at this together, and we'll go through the process of proofreading it. And this is basically Koch grammar. So you are doing what you do with Koch grammar on your own paper. So the very first thing I see is that I did not indent. And that's a no-no. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to put a... Ooh, that's not working out. Okay, a little peace sign right there. Okay? Alright, so Thomas Foster asserts that meal scenes in literature are symbolic because people are picky about who they eat with, and therefore the dining experience acts as a form of communion. Now, if you look right here where it says who they eat with, comma, and therefore, comma, that comma is not correct, and I know that it needs to go there, so I'm going to put like a little thingy. Okay, can I get it to go? Whoop. Hold on. Let me drag this a little bit. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we see the circle. So we need to basically come right here, and we're gonna circle this and move it there. So, okay. It's not playing nicely with me. Okay. And therefore, the dining experience. Okay. And therefore, the dining experience acts as a form of communion. Going farther, and Foster says the meal is almost always an indication of the status of a relationship. A successful meal represents a positive relationship, whereas a failed meal or the absence of a meal can represent a negative relationship. And I know that this is the wrong version of farther, so I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to make this mark. Further. Okay, so we were here. A successful meal represents a positive relationship, whereas a failed meal or the absence of a meal can represent a negative relationship. While this may seem far-fetched, Foster's idea of communion helps to reveal the theme of Beauty and the Beast and I need to underline Beauty and the Beast. By showing the effect of Belle on the Beast through the course of several meals. With each passing meal, readers recognize that kindness gives others the courage to change. And this is my theme, so I'm going to highlight, because one of the big things in a proofread is, do I answer the question? And so I'm going to, where was it at? Okay, here we go. Kindness gives others courage to change. Maybe I take this and put a little T beside it. So yay, I have theme. Woo woo. Okay. After the first meeting, and here's another issue I've got. When I see this, I know that in correct writing, this needs to be first. So F-I-R-S-T. The first meeting, Belle refuses to eat with Beast. What a jerk. He becomes very angry, and his resulting behavior is animal-like. He growls and prowls around the castle on all four legs. Now let's stop right here. Sometimes when we write, we want to editorialize and throw little comments in, and they're not necessary. So this whole "what a jerk," this is irrelevant information, or basically it's irrelevant to what we're saying. So we're going to take it out. Okay. He becomes very angry, and his resulting behavior is animal-like. He growls and prowls around the castle on all four legs. It is appropriate that the beast responds to her rejection by becoming more animalistic, as beasts struggle to keep his humanity rests on mankind's acceptance of him. The importance of acceptance is demonstrated clearly by a contrasting meal scene in which Belle sees Beast's animalistic dining habits, his failure to eat with silverware and slop food around, and begins to drink her porridge to bring a more human method to their dining experience. By this single act of kindness, Beast feels accepted and is, therefore, willing to try something even though he lacks confidence. The result of this seemingly simple event is that in later meal scenes, Beast is seen first using silverware and then dancing around the ballroom with Belle. Belle's kindness allows Beast to become fully human inside, despite retaining for a short while his beastly exterior. Throughout the remainder of the plot, simple acts of communion provide a wonderful avenue to watch major change in Beast's character because of kindness. So I'm looking at here, I do see evidence where I talked about up here about the failed meal scene. Okay, I have fully explained the meal scene. And when you go into the place where you turn the paragraph, and you'll actually see a rubric, and it's going to make sure you're giving us in your paragraph, what is communion? What is vampirism? Answer that question, okay? And if you actually look from the previous steps, where it says Foster's idea of communion helps reveal the theme of Beauty and the Beast by showing, okay, this is actually a change. This is where I originally started. So in order to meet with the rubric, I did go back and add these top sentences explaining what communion is and how Foster explains what it is. And so just make sure in the proofreading process, a big part of it is if there's a rubric, look at it. Look at it, compare it to your paragraph. Am I hitting all the spots I've got to hit? Am I getting full points out of my paper? This is very important. There's one more thing that I want to think about, though. Because I've gone through and I've checked that I think mostly grammatically I'm fine. Am I going to catch everything grammatically? No. But I am looking to make sure that I've got the horrible errors away. So now what I'm going to do is I see one place where I said dancing around the ballroom. If I want to add a better word to that, I will change dancing to waltzing, because that's just dancing can be like a tribal dance where he's just running around and there's no just moving his arms and hands crazy. Waltzing infers order and control, and that's what they were actually doing, was a form of dancing. I will say waltz because I don't know any better, but I can change that around, and then I've got a better word. So, voila, here is my final paragraph. What I will do now is, if I was in a word processor, I would just go in and make these changes right away, but I am not, so therefore I will go back and copy these back in or retype the paragraph, worst case scenario, with these mistakes fixed. So now it's your turn. Go back, proofread your piece. I would recommend showing it to a classmate, let them look at it as well, do culture grammar with each one, and then turn it in. Thank you very much.